What up everyone, it's your man Xman87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is the Wolverine 50th Anniversary 2-pack of Brood Wolverine vs Empress Lilandra of the Shi'ar Empire review. Before we get into everything, if you could please drop a like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, let's briefly go over the character history of Empress Lilandra as I give you that 1-2 punch of the Uncanny X-Man-y story time. Let's go! Lilandra Neramani first appeared in X-Men number 97, Volume 1, and was created by Chris Claremont and Dave Cockrum. She was born on Eri, now called Chandalar, the homeworld of the Shi'ar Empire, one of 4 royal offsprings. Her older sister Deathbird was banished after murdering their mother and sister, leaving the throne to their brother Daken. Lilandra served as the Grand Admiral of the Imperial Guard under Magister Daken until she learned of her brother's insane plans for the Macron Crystal. When she opposed them in the Shi'ar High Council, Daken had her arrested. Before he could execute her, Lilandra escaped and fled to Earth. She was aware of Professor X's powers and had established a psychic link between them, which allowed her to send him warning visions of her coming. The Shi'ar Observer of Earth, Devon Shikari, aka Eric the Red, was waiting and captured Lilandra when she finally met Xavier. Eric the Red took her to the Macron Crystal through a Stargate with Xavier and the X-Men following. Using the powers of the Phoenix, Jean Grey, and the X-Men, they stopped Daken from destroying the universe with the Macron Crystal. Daken survived, but was catatonic. While the Shi'ar High Council debated the successor to the Mad Magister, Lilandra went back to Earth with Xavier and the X-Men. There her relationship grew with Xavier. Lilandra was made Magistrix and returned to the Shi'ar Empire with Xavier, who believed his X-Men had died in battle. When he learned differently and when he realized Jean Grey needed his help, Xavier returned to Earth, but he was unsuccessful. The Dark Phoenix annihilated an inhabited Shi'ar planet, and Magistrix Lilandra ordered her extermination. Xavier convinced Lilandra to allow Jean Grey a trial by combat instead, which ended when Jean sacrificed herself. Meanwhile, the exiled Deathbird formed an alliance with the Badoon, the Brood, and the Shi'ar Lord Samadar to overthrow Lilandra. With the help of the X-Men, the Brood were defeated, but Deathbird claimed the Shi'ar throne. Lilandra fled and sought asylum and help from the Starjammers. Even as a Magistrix in exile, Lilandra was able to organize the intergalactic trial of Reed Richards for the crime of saving Galactus. Lilandra was still trying to regain her empire when she sensed Xavier's failing health through their psychic bond and had the Starjammers rush to Earth. They took Xavier with them to heal his injuries with Shi'ar technology. Recovered, Xavier ended up joining Lilandra and the Starjammers as Deathbird's pursuit of her sister prevented him from returning to Earth. In her reign as the Empress, the Empire has been in troubled times. The Skrulls tried to infiltrate and control the Shi'ar Council, declared war on the Kree, and have battled against the Phalanx and the Uncreated. Perhaps the most devastating experience Lilandra had to go through was when Cassandra Nova controlled Charles Xavier, who mind-controlled Lilandra into commanding the Shi'ar fleet to attack Shi'ar territory and destroying all of the mutants on Earth. In a fit of rage, Lilandra tried to kill Xavier, not knowing that he was also controlled, but the Shi'ar took her away and prompted Jean Grey to transform into the Phoenix Force. With these events, the Shi'ar Council decided to annul the marriage between Lilandra and Charles Xavier. Things would take a turn for the worse as she would ultimately meet her demise when Vulcan, now Emperor of the Shi'ar Empire, ordered the hit that takes her life in the War of Kings event, and Emperor Vulcan would now reign supreme of all Shi'ar supremacy. For powers and abilities, Lilandra is protected wearing Shi'ar body armor. Lilandra has peak human strength, speed, agility, endurance, and reflexes, and limited telepathic powers. For weapon abilities, Neramani is one of the galaxy's most deadliest warriors, with being proficient with Shi'ar weaponry arsenal, from operating aerial crafts and gunships, Shi'ar daggers, grenades, and even weapons she crafted herself, like the makeshift spear used to kill her own sister, and the one-shot energy cannon she used on Ultimus that killed him in, well, one shot. Her Shi'ar sniper is insanely powerful that when she shot the bullet, even Jean Grey tapping into the Phoenix, though not yet a full host, struggles by barely catching it. If you can make someone of the Phoenix Force struggle, it's an impressive feat. She is extremely dangerous and almost unstoppable when wielding Shi'ar energy swords, which are basically the lightsabers in the Marvel Universe. and she even solos a group of one of her own Shi'ar soldiers with one of their own blasters. She's not just a Shi'ar weaponry master, but she's extremely knowledgeable on weapons from various race or species. Carol Danvers, who has a military background, was impressed by Lilandra's precision using a Brood energy blaster. In other media, she's appeared in some animated shows like the 90s X-Men the Animated Series and Hulk and the Agents of Smash. In video games, she also appeared in the very popular Marvel Ultimate Alliance game. Lilandra Naramani plays an essential role to the Marvel Cosmic Universe, appearing in over 1,029 issues. All hail the Empress. Alright, so first I gotta say, this is a pretty decent figure, but I do have some gripes with it, so I'll be objectively critiquing, and if you can't handle that, then feel free to go somewhere else. But if you want to hear my honest thoughts on this, then stick around. So the helmet shape is really nice, and it has a really nice sculpt, right? You got the diagonal lines sculpted throughout onto the back. That looks good, and it's painted. I love sculpt and paint combo. However, the plastic on this, man, because of the marbling, you know, you'll get some of those swirls and cracks as you see there. That interrupts the diagonal line pattern, and it just throws it off. I do not like that. Another thing, her face, right? She has her face paint features that are hidden, like right there, and that's supposed to be prominent. It's supposed to be visible, and even on the alternate head they gave to Mystique, it was right there in your face, and it had the little star design on her cheek. This one doesn't have that, and I'm just like, why? You know what I mean? Why would you hide one of her main features? And that I do not like. I do wish she had some more black face paint around the eyes too, to go with that design pattern. I just do not like that it's hidden right there. I couldn't find the Lilandra head that came with the Mystique figure, but here's a pic I took some time ago so you can see a side-by-side comparison. And yeah, even if I had the head on hand for this review, I wouldn't even bother doing the head swap, because that plastic just doesn't match this kind of marbling deco they have for the new one. And even though this one has the better face because of the face print tech deco, the old one had the better black eye paint, war paint, whatever you want to call that, around the eyes. And I did wish she had an alternate head included here without the helmet, because I think that hairstyle would look awesome. But I think they'll be saving that in her alternate attire without the armor. The face sculpt is nice. The eyes look a little too far separated, but that's fine because she's of the avian race, and her people normally have those like separated eyes that look far apart. The lipstick looks nice. He has the silver chin strap painted in a metallic silver, so it doesn't match the helmet nor anything on the body. And that's one of my biggest gripes, because again, that marble swirling, that plastic is just not doing it here for me. I don't know what's going on here, but something feels off. And if you look at her torso, again, she's got great details. It's sculpted and painted right there on the chest, and even the paint goes onto the back, and it's just weird. They never paint the back, especially with a figure that has a cape on it, right? But then it just kind of stops, and there's no black outlining on the belt, nor on the gauntlets, nor on the legs, and that is really bothersome, because it's just like there's a lot of that marble swirling that's just breaking up the figure. It's just interfering with the figure's look. And you know, I'll be honest with you, it's very hard for me to go from reviewing Lady Mandarin, you know, in my last review, and looking at this figure. Like, look at the difference in the silver, look at the details. You know, she uses, I don't know, it's just a better silver plastic here. And the fact that they painted the line work and they didn't paint the line work here, you know, it's a vast difference, as you can see. So I just felt like the quality took a dip from one pack to the other. That's the problem here. It should have been painted in all metallic silver. And you can make the case, like in the comics, it does have this kind of reflective look. Yeah, you know, okay. But that doesn't mean it's going to translate well in figure form. You know, not all the time. And not painting it in metallic silver, it's just a shame, because I just don't understand how Hasbro can make such good sculpt work look a little cheap. And, you know, I'm not coming from a place of vitriol or anything like that. I'm coming from a place of genuine curiosity here. you know, this is part of their premium line, so make it feel premium. Give it the metallic silver deco it deserves, because that with the black lining on it, oh man, this figure would have been over the top. Honestly, I feel like the silver on the arms look a lot better than what's on the rest of the body. It has a better shimmer to it. It's very nice. You know, I do like that, but like the Quake gauntlets reused right here, you know, that looks cheap. It looks cheap as hell. The torso not being painted. Well, this part's painted, but the belt, you know, it looks cheap. Yeah, again, good sculpt line work right here, and it's not painted. But the texture on the thighs right here looks really nice, man. I do like that, and it makes me happy to see that they're sculpting line work and texture on the comic figures, man. It's like they're giving the comic figures MCU treatment now. That is a plus for us comic fans. The cape is reused, actually retooled is the proper word I should say, from the Black Queen cape. And yeah, you can see it has the same flow to it. And the reason why I say it's retooled, you can see the difference right here, is that there are wrinkles and creases right here on the top of the cape. Nothing right there, and as you can see, wrinkles and creases on the back of the cape. Nothing right there. So it is retooled, and it is fit for her medallion. And as you can see, it's I don't know if you can see, but it's you know, there's like a peg, and it's like going right through her chest. So this is gonna make it real good for customizing options to give her a fabric wired cape. So that is great, and I'm definitely going to look into getting a wired cape for her, because I want her sitting on a throne and stuff like that. It does plug into the back, but the good thing is that, you know, because of that peg, it's not going to shift or pop out of place. It's going to stay intact, which is nice. She's got the gripping hands for her default hands, and again, just looking at the line work, a closer look at the line work right here on her legs. Some great sculpting, very subtle. I'm probably gonna take a Black Gundam marker and trace that carefully. So it is a little on the subtle side, so it's not like the sculpt is digging in deep. So I do gotta be careful in handling that. But yeah, it's again nice sculpt work right there. For accessories, she comes with her ceremonial staff, and it's really nice, good length for it. And you could see how for some reason it's kind of translucent, and you can see like little plastic bubbles traveling through the staff. And I I don't know if that's part of the plastic or if that's intentional to make it look like it's a little, you know, cosmic effect. I can even see it like right there too. So I don't know. If you use your imagination, it might look like a little cosmic crackle effect. And here's her holding the ceremonial staff. I do wish it was painted in metallic gold instead. And I have her gripping it on that curve right there. If you have her grip it right here, it's just gonna slide and be wobbly. I mean, you can have her hold it at the top right there, but you know, depending how you pose it, it's just going to be a loose grip. So you're just going to have to find some sweet spot to make sure it fits tight. Then they give her a few alternate hands, so she has this chopping hand for her right and a closed fist for her left. Also, if you want to, you could give her the Shi'ar Power Lance from Executioner X-Men 97 Wave 2 to give her some more Shi'ar weapons. And here's a good one for you guys to make the figure more fun. I took the lightsabers from the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive 2-pack of Deadpool and Hydra Bob and give it to Lilandra for Shi'ar lightsabers, since actually these are pretty much the same colors of the lightsabers that the Shi'ar Empire uses, red and blue. So if you have this 2-pack, then give her the Shi'ar lightsabers to increase her arsenal. Now for articulation, her head is on a ball joint, so she has very good motion looking up and somewhat looking down, left, right. She has great pivoting. I mean, look at that thing. That thing's deep, and it rocks around. Her arms move about that far up, slightly higher than the T-pose. You can move them up and down. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and she has the wrist swivel and the wrist hinge. Her torso is pretty weak, man. It's not as good as Lady Mandarin, because remember in my review, I can tell you to manipulate the torso and giving her more range by crunching it and then, you know, twisting it, and she doesn't even get more crouching motion. It just it doesn't move far down, so it's pretty weak, as you can see. that kind of lets me down, especially since, you know, she's a good fighter. I want to put her in better poses. It does move back a good amount. It does swivel, and it does have some good pivoting, but it's that crunch I need. Her legs spread that far apart. She kicks up real high. I like these new legs, and she does kick far back to get a good frontward split. And then her thighs have some good motion around it. You got the thigh swivel, double jointed knees. Do we get heel to the Empress butt? No, very close though, very close. It's still a good range. And you have her ankles that move up that far, down, and you could rock them all around. I think a lot was left on the table with this one. Some features were hidden or not apparent at all. Not going with a metallic paint left it feeling uninspiring and not premium. The sculpt, the sculpted line work, textured details are all there, but not enough paint to follow up with. Good selection of accessories. She's a decent figure, and I think she's still one of the best female Legends figures of 2024. An essential character to X-Men lore, which is why I'll give her a generous rating of a 7.5 out of 10. Alright, and this is the Brood Wolverine, where he got infected with the Brood embryo, as seen in the Uncanny X-Men issue number 234. And take a look at this creepy head sculpt right here, because they did a very good job with it. Damn, that thing looks creepy. I really like the everything, the sculpt. You can see like the veins through the mask. That is pretty freaking creepy. And yeah, the red eyes. I'm a sucker for like creepy looking face sculpts. And you can see the elongated like gummy lips and teeth, and yeah, look at that, man. The tongue right there, it is an articulated mandible, which is very cool. I do like that. So you can have him yelling, you can have it closed. Yeah, this came out a lot better than I expected. It's a good sculpt all around. And he's in that 80s brown costume. And same Wolverine buck. The only difference is that he has new arms, as you can see. When he transformed into the Brood, he had these kind of segmented lines. It's a good wash on it. Very good wash. The only thing that bothers me here from an aesthetic standpoint is that this is painted in gray to match the skin tone, but the segmented lines don't continue throughout. Either they should have sculpted them, or maybe they should have paint like some gray lines there to kind of blend in with that, or just paint the entire deltoid muscle in this brown deco to kind of hide it. I don't know, man. To me, it just doesn't look good. Interestingly enough, they gave him the animated series claws, and these are new hands. He's got the open hands with the claws out, and I thought these were reused from the VHS Wolverine, but it's not. So you can definitely recreate that cover from 234, as he had these kind of hand gestures with the claws out. And just to bring out my Outback Wolverine, you can see the brown costume is a lot lighter on this one. He is pinless at the arms, but he has the pins on the legs. And I do feel that we will get a pinless Wolverine in the brown costume very soon. And I hope they switch it up when they give us that pinless brown Wolverine, because I want the Jim Lee brown costume. You know, the one where it was brown on the mask and not black, and he had the X logo on the belt instead of this regular belt buckle. Go back and read X-Men number 1 and you'll know what I'm talking about. I'll just leave a reference image for you to see. And yeah, I definitely want that one to go with my Jim Lee team. And I know he only wore that for like maybe an issue or two. It was very brief, but just to switch it up on my display and display a brown one with my X-Men blue team. And that's not the only reason why I want that more. Is because we already had 2 brown Wolverine costumes with the black mask and the regular buckled belt. So again, time for the switch up. Not going to fully go over articulation, as you know what to expect from this buck. Just going to go over the new pinless arms right there to show you the range that you get. And it's a little past 90, not much. And for accessories, he only comes with a pair of closed fists. The Brood Wolverine's main visual appeal is that awesomely gruesome head sculpt. With the articulated mandible, they didn't have to waste 2 sculpts for a closed or open mouth display. New arms we may not see again, but opened hands with the claws out might be seen again down the line. He's not enough to save this pack, but the good news is that this can be the catalyst that paves the way for us to get the Brood army builders. I'm rating Brood Wolverine a 4 out of 10. Alright guys, so look, I really love the Lilandra character. I'm so happy to have her in the line. I wanted her so bad. I needed a body for her because that head that came with Mystique just wasn't enough. But look, I'm going to keep it real with you, man. this ended up being a better buy to me than this. Look, I sung its praises for Lady Mandarin, and I'll be honest with you, Lady Mandarin is not an X-Men essential. If you're a hardcore X-Men fan like me, you know Lilandra is essential to the X-Men collection. I'll acknowledge that, and Lady Mandarin was on my wish list, but so was Lilandra. Lady Mandarin only appeared in like 2 issues until she resurfaced later during Chris Claremont's return during the New Exiles in the late 2000s, so yeah, you know Lilandra has a large history, a part of not just the X-Men universe, but Avengers and the entire cosmic universe of Marvel. Lady Mandarin is only a must-buy to the hardcore X-Men fans like me, or if you just want another version of Mandarin in your collection or something. You know, those who collect X-villains and need the X-villains on their shelves, they're gonna get Lady Mandarin. However, just generally speaking, it's always sad to see a non-essential buy be better than an essential buy right here. And the only way this will end up becoming a better buy than this one, to me, and again, this is just to me in my opinion, is if they built some equity behind this pack and come out with a Brood Army builder. So this way you can put this Brood Wolverine with your Brood Army. I love X-Men, I love the Marvel Cosmic Universe, I love the cosmic side of X-Men, so when those two worlds meet, I get ecstatic for those reads. So in my eyes, Lilandra is an essential to the Marvel Universe. After all, she's an empress to one of the biggest empires in the galaxy, but let's face it, man, this 2-pack should have been Lilandra and Deathbird. Those two would have easily sold as a 2-pack. Alright, now for some comparisons, here's Empress Lilandra next to Dark Phoenix, and very important to note, Lilandra is very undersized, and she's supposed to be taller than Jean. Jean's 5'6". Lilandra's a tall woman. She's about 6 feet tall, and if anything, she was supposed to be Lady Mandarin's height. So they made her very, very short. Yeah, so they made her super short. I don't know why. I mean, they have an all new sculpted torsos and the legs, so I don't understand why they couldn't match her size up with Lady Mandarin's. And I double checked, and actually Lilandra and Psylocke are the same height at 5'11". So an inch away from 6 feet. I was very close. But yeah, now because of comic inaccuracy, I'm gonna have to deduct another point off of Lilandra. Then here she is next to Gladiator and Vulcan. Then we have the Empress next to some of the Starjammers, Corsair, Cha'ad, and Binary. And most importantly, here is Lilandra next to Professor X. Charles finally got his girl back. Calm down, Professor, goddamn! And to close out comparisons, here is the Brood Wolverine next to the Brood Queen Build-A-Figure. And now to wrap things up, my final rating is a 5.75 out of 10. Not much more to shed here. I'm just hoping for some Brood Army builders to come through after this Brood Wolverine. Which reminds me, I may do a part 2 of my X-Men wish list if you would like to see that. I think they can reissue the Brood Queen as is since that sculpt was perfect. But if they update it with new articulation and make it a bigger size, then the better. I'll gladly take that. Empress Lilandra of the Shi'ar Empire is another one I'm glad to check off my wish list. She's a good figure that could have been stretched to greatness with just one addition of metallic silver paint throughout the armor. That's the big difference paint makes on an action figures. You guys know this. Why put a figure in a premium pack and not lace it with premium deco? She needed to visually feel like cosmic royalty. This ain't no queen, man. She's above that. She's the effing empress, so treat her as such next time, Hasbro. Despite being a little underwhelmed, especially with her scaling being comic inaccurate, I'm not gonna deduct another point. She looks great in photos, and that made up for it as her armor pops better under some good lighting. I'm still happy to have her on my shelf, finally, with her own body, and that beats the alternative before of having to kit bash the head on a Silver Sable body. All in all, I can't predict what will go on clearance all the time, but if you happen to wait and find a good deal for this, then go with that if you are not in a rush. Just know that the Empress is an essential for X-Men or cosmic world building if you are that type of collector like me. Now I kick it back to you. What do you think of this pack? You think the Brood is on the horizon? What's the next Shi'ar character you'd like to see next? For me, it's Deathbird all the way. Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. Thanks for watching another Marvel Legends review. Please follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at xman87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. See you on the next review. Peace, peace.